For 40 years, the alarm clock beat the sunrise. Some mornings it was a road train, some mornings it was a low loader. Sometimes, it was a wide load crawling across Western Australia while the rest of the world was still asleep. The heat could be brutal, and the dust got into everything. The days were long, the weeks were longer, and sometimes with no end in sight. And yet, year after year, you kept showing up and getting the job done. People depended on you, and were always in constant communication with you. The boss needed you, your customers needed you, your workmates needed you, and more than anyone, so did your family. The bills also needed paying, the mortgage needed paying, your kids needed to be fed, clothed and housed. The responsibilities in your life don't stop just because you're tired. One swing becomes another, 1 year became 10, 10 became 20, 20 years became 40 years. Too quickly. And the phone never stopped. Along the way, life just happened. Maybe your marriage didn't survive the distance, and the house was lost. Maybe your kids grew up while you were somewhere between Port Hedland and Kalgoorlie. There were birthdays missed, Christmases missed, school concerts missed. But you kept driving. What choice did you have? And then one day, just like that, it was all over. The keys to the truck were handed over to a younger bloke starting his own journey, and suddenly, there was nowhere you needed to be tomorrow morning. At first, it felt like freedom, the dream you'd worked towards for a very long time. A small apartment somewhere in Southeast Asia. Warm weather, cheap food, cold beer, palm trees moving in the breeze. There was no alarm clock anymore, no boss, no stress, no more 12-hour days or 70-hour weeks on the road. You finally had everything you'd spent a long time chasing, and that's when something unexpected happened. Your phone stopped ringing. Not all at once, just a little less each week, then a little less again. The work calls disappeared completely. All the urgent problems no longer required your solutions. The people who couldn't function without you before somehow figured it out for themselves. Life carried on without you. Sometimes you'll pick up the phone and check the screen, just to make sure the thing is still turned on. Sometimes you'll call the kids. Sometimes you'll ring an old mate back home. You'll talk about the weather, the footy. Who's retired? Who's sick? Who's still working? Who's gone? And for a few brief minutes, you'll be back in the life that used to be yours. The life that now strangely feels very far away. Life isn't over, it's just going to be different now. It may be the loss of your former identity, but it's the creation of your new one, the one that you will need to find out for yourself what that looks like now. Nobody talks about the strange feeling of spending 40 years being needed, and then suddenly becoming optional, or seemingly irrelevant, in what was the only life you knew before. But maybe that's the final lesson. Maybe the goal was never to be needed forever. Maybe it was to finally have enough time to discover who you really are as a person when nobody needs anything from you anymore. And for some men, getting used to the silence of their phone. Well, that could be the hardest road they have ever had to travel.